It was like, bend over and bust it. Bend over and bust it.
Yeah.
Got me going through racks. Got me going through It was just like, I felt like it was pretty ahead of its time for Toronto music at that time.
Hell yeah.
It was just really like a trappy dance record. And I feel like Derrick was dropping like dark, like the first song I heard from you was Clayco. And I was like,
Okay, yeah.
this shit's crap. I was like, oh,
That's
fuck.
crazy.
I actually discovered Derrick online. He didn't really sound like an artist from Toronto. And I feel like that's what made me feel more compelled to want to work with him. Toronto has a really tight-knit community. So everybody kind of eventually meets each other, or you run into, like, we know every artist coming up out of Toronto, almost like on a personal level, I would say. And just met him through like local party scene. He knew who I was, I knew who he was, and we just became friends. It began with a friendship, actually.
Well, this nigga done left out like a crazy part of our life, right? Like, so like, I was like living downtown at this time in like a 3-story loft for like all my niggas. Like, it was like me, like homie Q, like, you know what I mean? Like everybody. It was like a bunch of artists living in the crib. There was like some like local, like little like club popping thing like down the street. And then we're in the club and then they started playing this like crazy record. We didn't even think it was a Toronto artist, but then I looked to my right and this nigga's like turning up in the corner with like 3 bitches, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know? Like, and is this, my nigga like, you know what I mean? I was just lost. I'm like, so I go up to him like, yo, my nigga, is it your song? He's like, yeah, bro, it's my song. Oh shit, just like that.
That was OTL, right?
That was OTL, yeah. After that, we like brought him to like our loft, cause what we would do back then, we were like a bunch of ratchet kids, you know what I mean, living alone downtown in the heart of Toronto. We welcomed them into like our like surrounding our circle and just grew from there. We all ended up like kind of like splitting ways and going our own, you know what I mean? So we just kept the chemistry going even from then, so it was just kind of like, it just built up into what we got now.
We would have nights where we were just like, fuck it, like, let's just hop on a record together, you know? And then that's when me and Derrick were just in the studio one day, just chilling, vibing out. And we just made a record called Glamorous. I guess that was our first record. We never ended up releasing it. 88 Camino I guess it kind of came into fruition like before I knew it was gonna even be my moniker. It was more like, I just made a song, it was called Uncle Tona, and the record was like, 88 Camino, creeping through the jungle. Inside it looked like leopard, looked like cheetah and bald eagle. And it just became like a big thing. It was like on that whole
crazy.
like, what was that wave? Like,
It was like
that like sad boy.
that young lean sad boy
it was
trap
like on
trap
that
phase.
wave when that wave was like super popular, you know?
Yeah.
We were fucking with like Doja Cat, fucking Sad Boys. Yeah, the
Goomba was hard
we were
too.
fucking with the Goomba back then.
Yeah.
Everything was just like this like kind of like DIY kind of like unaffected sound. But yeah, so through those lyrics I was like, oh, that'd be hard. Cause like I spent a lot of time in my, like during my adolescence growing up in Oklahoma. So I moved from Toronto to Oklahoma and spent like 8 years there. And there you see like fucking like Chevelles, like Impalas, Caminos all the time. And I was like, yo, that'd be tight if it was just like something to keep me like deeply like intertwined with my upbringing. So that's how that name came about.
Like my favorite rapper growing up, like I like idolized this dude like to this day, rest in peace, Stack Bundles. And like, as you know, he was the gorgeous one, you know what I mean? Like he come through like, you know what I mean? Like his whole aura was just like, it was crazy to me, you know what I mean? Like just, I used to watch that niggas like videos every day on like YouTube. I know for sure I wouldn't even be rapping if I wasn't listening to that nigga. At that time of music, it was like, okay, there was like goon music, you know what I mean? Like niggas would be bumping like in Toronto, like, cause we were like really dark sounding, so every nigga was fucking with like Styles P, Uncle Murder, you know what I mean? Like D Block, all that. But then this era came, and like I feel like it was like this like pretty boy gangster. Like I'm like gorgeous, I'm pretty, but my nigga still, you know what I mean? Like don't talk to me like that. Like you know what I mean? Like, and like Stack was like that nigga, you know what I mean? Like as gritty as my music could get, or as you know what I mean? Like I could still switch it up and go light on them. I could still like, and I feel like I demonstrated that with 88 Glam.
When House of Balloons came out, everything in Toronto changed right there. I feel like that happened everywhere though. Like that sound didn't exist in the game. Like I was in Boston when I heard House of Balloons, because my mom lives in Boston now. And I was like, fuck, I'm moving back to Toronto. I literally moved back. I moved back to Toronto.
I can't like sing. I tried. I was in the studio like, like, you know, trying to hit notes and shit. Like, literally trying to, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, like, this shit is crazy. Like,
And then
crazy.
every artist was trying to be like super
Yeah.
mysterious, hiding their face, like, hey, boy, you know? Everybody was trying to take the aesthetic and shit.
Yeah.
So, like, shout out to their creative direction for that. That inspired the game a lot, too. Trying to regain that balance between being like a megalomaniac or like an egomaniac through like all of these like sentiments that I'm expressing in my music, and it actually begins to manifest like in real time. So I try to like find certain balances by just like taking moments to myself to like regather myself, just meditate, like read as much as I can, just like eat healthy, like exercise, you know, just step away from the music for a little bit and just like think about like my family, hit up my little sister, talk to her, you know what I mean? Just trying to find a balance between like the extremes of like hip hop and like partying all the time and just being a fucking real human. That shit gets crazy, you know?
I'm really like I'm big on thrillers. You know what I mean? I like thrillers, like psychological thrillers and shit like that. I'll like go to the movies by myself. You know what I mean? I'll book my ticket, go in there on the low, you know what I mean? Get my little popcorn, my drink on the side, watch my shit and get out of there, you know what I mean?